Were money no object, what would be your ultimate yacht? I'm Toby Hodges from Yachting World. We've come to sunny Mallorca to test Baltic's new 67, which I think could possibly be that ultimate long distance cruiser that's still manageable by a couple. This first Baltic 67 is called Magnoletti, and it's been built for a couple who have had 4 previous Baltics to this. They've sailed around the world with the World Ark. They really knew what they were looking for when they commissioned this boat. It's semi-custom, and we are going to have a look at all the details that led them to choose this boat and the fit out it's got. So why is it an ultimate blue water cruiser for a couple? Well, firstly, I should say there's a word we've left off there, and that's performance. So firstly, performance. This is a Baltic yacht, and anyone that's not familiar with Baltic yachts, they're probably the world's leading composite boat builder, especially at super yacht level. And in the last decade or so, they've been leading the way with carbon fiber super yachts. And they've brought that back down to a production level, 67-foot, semi-custom production level, and that's to get the owners back into the Baltic way of life, that they used to build yachts at this size, and in the last decade they've just been building super yachts, so now they're coming back down to this sort of size. So an important aspect is that semi-custom nature of the boat. It really is very, very flexible in what an owner can choose. So we're not going to be doing a proper boat test on a boat this size, because we're looking at individual customer owner options. But from the layout to the finish and everything is obviously owner driven, and it can be changed. The engineering is in place, and that's why it makes sense to go for a yacht like this rather than a custom yacht. But you can choose from the interior layouts to a telescopic keel like this has, or a fixed keel, twin rudders even, or a single rudder, a completely different sail plan, different owner's cabin layouts. It's very, very flexible. We're under engine on our way back to Palma, having had a very nice night at anchor. And welcome to the interior. It's a haven of calm on this Baltic 67. The question is, I guess, why move to such a large yacht, especially for a couple? The owner of this first boat wanted 3 main things out of going to this size, and that was a proper dinghy, and therefore the dinghy garage size for it, a U-shaped, seaman-like galley that 2 people could work in, and 4 cabins, because they do sail with friends and family. As well as the sheer quality, which is super yacht quality. I mean, everything I have seen on this boat is super yacht quality. It is fantastic. The storage is also superb throughout the boat. As I say, the owner wanted space to be able to, 2 people to be able to work in here. There's plenty of worktop space. You can brace yourself easily on either tack, fiddled worktops, and everywhere you look there is storage. So raised lockers here, this bank of 8 or 9 drawers under there, huge cupboards under here, forward facing fridges and freezers back here, and a dishwasher as well. So it's been kept neat and tidy because they run a dishwasher twice a day. It takes half an hour. You haven't got cups and crockery lying around, and it actually uses less water than doing it in a sink, apparently. And you also notice an induction hob as well. It's home from home comforts. There's no gas needed on board the boat. Big battery banks and a generator makes it all very comfortable. You'll notice there was no fixed cockpit table, so there is a carbon table that stows under this saloon sole. We ate our meal here last night, very comfortable down here obviously, but they have a small table on a single leg which can go in the cockpit easily for, you know, 2 people to have their coffee or a meal there. But it's, yeah, very comfortable here. It's quite a good setup actually, because the coffee table, top of the coffee table can stow on here, top of here when you're at sea, and then this puff underneath moves to join the saloon seating and the sofa here, so you end up with a sort of chaise longue, and there's a big TV on that aft bulkhead, you know, for when the owners are relaxing here. Plenty of space, and I can testify that these are pretty comfortable to sleep on as well. Again, storage is superb throughout, individual. If you have a look under here, this is all foam sandwich, weighs nothing, foam sandwich. But notice how they've got these netting bags and boxes under every single seat, under all the saloon panels. Every single area that can be storage is used, so you maximize the space. It's very well thought out, and that's the combination of Baltic being used to it and a very experienced sailor as an owner having his input in there as well. And then moving aft, you just nav station exactly where you want it. Big desk area. See, this has the screen, but that monitor tucks away under this desk area. And yeah, excellent monitor here for electrics, the tanks, the bilge, hydraulics and the ventilation. Clearly see everything that's going on the boat that you need to. Nice touch as well. Present from Baltic. Top of the champers bottle. Then moving aft, you have the day heads directly behind and into the twin cabin aft. And it's a twin cabin because that makes sense, you know, if you have a full male crew as well doing offshore delivery. And access into the walk-in engine room and that huge mechanical area where all the water maker gear is as well, and everything that needs to be serviced. Really easy to get at. In terms of accommodation space, again, another twin cabin and a single going forward. Sort of a corridor effect really, because this is a telescopic keel in here, so the T-keel lifts from 3.9 up to 2.5 meters, which meant last night we could anchor in 4 meters of water, or go, you know, the owners happily go under to about 3 meters of water to anchor in, which is a big difference to this size boat. Superb electric panel in there, absolutely beautifully done, and then the main switches and fire extinguisher controls and things you want to see right here. Moving forward, as I say, another twin cabin and a single here, which makes a very good pilot berth as well. Again, plenty of stowage in there, and a clever use of space here to split a heads and a big shower area, so guests in here not fighting over each other to use the heads all the time. And then the owner's cabin, for me, makes a lot of sense. People might question the use of a forward owner's cabin for a long distance sailing boat. But as you've seen, there's that single cabin, there's the big comfortable sofa berth, there's sleeping in the cockpit. So you would choose your ideal position when you're on passage. And it's a sensible use of space because you have the sail locker forward, then the heads. So that by the time you're back here where your head is, it's by the main bulkhead of the boat. So less pitching area. And then look at the amount of storage space there's still left. This huge bank of drawers here, his and hers, full height wardrobes. And a very comfortable heads in here and shower as well. So we had pretty light breeze yesterday for a sail, even lighter today. And whilst you may want to have a good 20 knots and give it a good old thrash, that what it proved is just how easily driven this type of boat is. And what I mean by that is a full composite boat. Epoxy hull, carbon deck, lightweight, I think this is 24 tons. And yeah, just moves through the water with very little effort. So we could sail properly in, you know, down to 5 knots, but in 6, 7, 8 knots of wind, we could enjoy the sail. And it's set up to really get the best performance out of it. It's a tall rig. This owner's gone for a rolling boom, obviously, rather than a V-boom or a stack pack. That's to be able to utilize sailing as much as possible in the Med. So you can go out for a quick sail and be sailing in half an hour, and it's push button operation. Notice this has a traveller as well, so again, you can trim the sails properly. I don't think it really gets in the way of the cockpit access too much. You can obviously shift it across. What I did like is really how one person or a couple can sail it easily without having to move around the boat too much. It's all here. Push buttons here, electric winches there. It's been very well designed for that. So the Traveller's on Antal flatwinder, electrically controlled. Under deck, under here, you see how the main sheet leads across here each side through a jammer, so you can shut it off to free the winch, but neatly out through here, through the turning block, onto one of the 2 winches. The other winch for the jib sheet, so you can lead the jib sheet to either winch, both electric, and having that primary inboard as well means you can, without this here, easily sit here, be able to trim the and steer yourself. Great position to be. Another neat feature is these Antal T-locks that they use through the cockpit and all along the tow rail here, and they're really just for attaching pad eyes to and lash tangs. So yeah, you can use it to clip your harness on. Here they've used it, put a tang on to attach the running backstay, and yeah, it just means you're not using stainless steel pad eyes that are going to corrode through the boat. And this one has a very open cockpit format. The next boat will have a closed transom here, but obviously with no fixed table you can walk through the cockpit pretty easily. Should also be pointed out though, with this open transom there will be a third pad eye here, so yeah, give you a bit more of a feeling of safety when you're at sea. Everyone's obviously going to have their own idea about what makes their perfect boat. For those looking for a performance monohull that can go long distance sailing and be easily managed at its larger size, what Baltic has done is provide really the most amount of options you could wish for without going to a full custom. So I think for a lot of people this could be that ultimate boat, because you could tailor it to your exact needs, but the foundations are in place for a pretty stunning vessel to take you around the world.